Hi, hi. It is Anna-Sofia, and I'm still quite new to YouTube, but so far you have maybe seen my wonderful knitting vlog. And I have been puzzling around a little bit how to manage answering questions, for example, as well as showing more like nature and knitting. And it's kind of some of you would like to see more of the one side and others would like to see the opposite. So I decided I will make two different I will have my wonderful vlog posts, which will focus on being silent videos, and I will create the, let's call it the Q&A. It doesn't really have a name. I feel we need like a catchy name for it. So right now I'm just going to call it knit, etc., which is really boring. Yeah, I will go through questions. So I will go through questions, and I'm still super nervous, even if I've done this now 4 times to think about it. But yeah, I'm pretty nervous still, and I actually just spilled water on my sweater, so it's a bit wet. I know this. Distractions. And yeah, I would love if you could give me feedback, positive and negative, so I can see what I can do better and what is good maybe you would like to see more of and what less. And most importantly, please ask me questions and I will see to answer them. And I got a list ready. You asked me a lot of questions, so the first episodes I will go probably just through them, maybe 4, 5, 6 questions in one video. So yeah, I'm saying so a lot. I'm trying to stop this, but it's just sometimes comes. Okay. Oh wait, I'm gonna start with showing you or telling you what I'm wearing. This is my sweater design. It's called Taito, and it's you can see it's an owl, like an owl. Taito. It's a winter. What's the other name for it? Barn owl. Taito. Let's call it Taito. And yeah, I designed this sweater already in 2020, and it's knitted in Letlopi, Icelandic wool. So it is quite. It's on the warmer side. It's using a worsted iron weight, and but I live quite high up here, and the wind is just blowing through the house at all times really, so I can wear this all year round. And in winter I will probably use an even thicker sweater, and I like to save heating costs, so I'm wearing sweaters like this. Yes, but let me get to the questions. So one question I'm being asked is a lot is the sizing and how I decide a size, and just generally speaking about sizes. Let's start at the beginning, how I decided in the first place the sizes, and I will actually just grab a sweater and explain you a little bit more about the possibilities of sizing. Just a moment. And here I'm back, and I have a sweater, but let me talk first. Okay, when you think about a size, I'm going to call the sizes L, XL, S right now. I'm giving them the names we kind of know. But I will also talk about the names, what I think about this naming a bit later on. And okay, when we hear the size L, we kind of have an idea in our head what does this mean, and usually it means let's say L chest will be about 1 meter to 1 meter and 4, 1 meter and 6 in circumference, and this is kind of the size we think about when we hear L. And when I decide sizes for my knitwear, I look in general, I do a lot of research and okay, what do people think when they hear size L? And let's ignore the naming itself, but just like if someone asks you what is your size, you usually think of like L. You're not gonna think maybe your measurement. Like I at least don't. This first thing I think is okay, size L. When you go on a web page and let's say Amazon, it's not where I would go shopping, but for clothes. But you would usually type like, I'm looking for a t-shirt size L. And you will get kind of your size, and you will probably read like the small written part and maybe size up or size down. Yeah, but I follow this guide. It's called the guide. When you kind of know, okay, a size L is like this, and then you have a size XL, 2XL, and smaller and larger. Right now I have 9 sizes in my knitting patterns, and I name them from 2XS to 5XL. And I started to rename them a little bit in newer patterns to ABCD, EFG. I'm not sure what people prefer actually, numbers or letters, but I think it's a better way to name a size for knitting. Not just to be size inclusive, but also, okay, I knit for myself XL and 2XL, and someone mentioned it's kind of discouraging for some, for example, if they would knit a 4XL and they would see the this like the number or the name 4XL, it kind of sounds not so nice, and I completely understand this because, okay, this is a size XL, but I have also knitted size 2XL sweaters for myself, and sometimes when I see 2XL, I get kind of demotivated a little bit, so that's also kind of a reason why I thought it's good to maybe change the naming of those sizes, but still you will kind of follow, of course, like this rule set. One size will allow plus 3 to 4 centimeters in difference, 1 or 2 inches in difference. Yes, but so as a knitwear designer, you do have some limitations depending on, I mean, what yarn you use, for example. Getting lost here. So this is the reason why I grabbed this sweater just right now, and it is the Bear Heart sweater. I have shown it to you on the wonderful knitting vlog already, and the reason why I choose this, so this sweater is using plötterlopi held together, which gives me a gauge of 14 stitches per 4 inches, 10 centimeters. And you see the pattern, the chart is, you know, you see like a bear, and you see paws, and you do not want to have this bear cut off. And if you see this, the bear, let me think, is about 16 centimeters wide. And okay, let's say we have a size S and M. The difference between that is less than 16 centimeters. So you have some limitation when you make a sweater thick like this. And how I solved this, because some knitwear designers, they would just skip a size and really just call it SML, XL. And then you have this giant gap of size in between those, those numbers. And how I solved this issue with this sweater, I have a Bear Heart sweater published in my Ravelry store. That is the old version. This sweater is, so this sweater is a sweater coming up in my new book, Knit Wild, which you will have in your mailbox if you pre-order it in less than 2 months from now. And how I solved it with this sweater is the chart is actually a little bit different between the sizes. Let's say I'm just gonna name it S and M. So the chart in S has a little bit less in the bare, like the row is missing and it has 2 rows less on the side, kind of to get the in-between, basically, you want in between those charts. The in-between 2 sizes are in between, I would say. Yes. So that was the reason why I got this sweater out. Yeah, so you have some limitations, and a lot of sweaters, Icelandic sweaters, which include my designs. For example, the Vag Polar sweater, the one with the wolves. The chart is 16 stitches wide, which is a pretty common stitch wideness. Usually it's kind of 8, 10, 12, 14, 16. It's what you see the most. It's usually what you kind of like, these charts, they can't be too high. Usually about 35 stitches, depending on the size, plus and minus. So you can't really do too much, so you put a little bit in the width. And now I lost track what I was gonna say. Yeah, we have those limitations, but 16, just having a size like 16 stitches, 16 stitches, 16 stitches, kind of the in-between is always those 16 stitches, is quite common, which makes it, yeah, 10 centimeters, about 4 inches in difference. And so these sweaters are meant to be worn with something under them, and you wear them outdoors. So they have a positive ease of about 10 centimeters, depending how you like them. So you have some space in there, and yeah, I don't think it really matters if this is tailored to you. I mean, it's supposed to be tailored, of course, but not super tight tailored, if you know what I mean. Yeah. And yeah. Excuse me. This is about sizes. And I mentioned earlier, yeah, I think it's a good idea to change the naming of sizes we use as knitwear designers to ABCD, 1, 2, 3, 4, etc. The reason why I went with 2XS, XS and so on in the first place was my very first pattern I ever knitted was using A, B, C, D, C, and so on. And I remember I was really confused, because I was like, okay, I have no idea where to even look, and I didn't have a measuring tape, and I'm like, I don't know my size, and what is L? What is size L? And I remember I was asking the yarn store, what sizes should I use, because it was really confusing. And yeah, but now, like, after all this time, I've been designing for over 6 years now. Time runs fast. I do understand this. It's actually way better, more inclusive naming, I would say, yeah. But I do also understand if beginners especially kind of don't like this kind of naming, so it's a bit like, oh, what should I do? Yeah, but this is about the sizing. And yeah, again, this sweater is called Bearheart. It's the cover sweater of my new book. I love red, and it's my favorite sweater, and it smells like a sheep. Okay, next question. How to knit faster? Oh well, I have those episodes when I'm a really fast knitter, and I was once recording time and I was finishing one sleeve like this in about 40 minutes. But then I have also days, especially if I haven't knitted for a day or two, even, and as of course if you haven't knitted for 2-3 weeks, it's going to be even more, that I just start being slower. So one part of knitting faster is practice. If you're like in the flow, you will just automatically knit faster, I would say. Yes, I think it's very proven. No matter what you do, you will be very fast if you do it a lot. And another thing is, so I have one, this will be a vest, and it's, I'm using, it's a new pattern, I'm using needle size US 15, 10 millimeter. Those needles are from Hobby, so the number is actually written on it, which is really good, I feel. I tend to forget those numbers sometimes and like, what am I using again? It might be just me, probably just me, but yes. And so this is not really the best sample to use for demonstration, as I'm using 4 strands of leftovers, really. But what helps me is to knit a little bit more loose. So I'm a naturally more looser knitter, and maybe you can tell me if you, for example, if you're a tight knitter, do you feel it makes you slower? Because I feel I used to be a tight knitter, and since I started being a loose knitter, I'm kind of faster, because it's like when the yarn is not too tight hanging on here, like it kind of like goes smoother down the needle, so it kind of becomes faster. It's just what I would say about it, really. And yeah, practice. It's the only thing what's going to change, really, how fast you knit. And another, which is kind of question, which is very close connected to this one, what knitting technique I use when I like the knit stitch. So I do the continental knit stitch, and I also don't really know. So I'm self-taught with YouTube, and it was just at some point where I was, okay, I want to learn how to knit, sorry. And I looked at a video which was easy to understand, and that person, I don't remember what video it was, happened to knit continental, and I think it's a bit faster than... I try to do both. For example, when you knit with 2 colors, it's very beneficial if you can you pull the yarn through like with the continental technique, or you like do the wrapping. But for me, it doesn't really feel very natural at all. So I just pull through. And right now this is not really the best project to demonstrate this, but I'm not sure how you can see this really properly. But yeah, I pull through, and you can imagine this can get really fast. I feel it also matters, really. But maybe some of you would know both, can give me a feedback. It's just my opinion on this. And so this is a vest, and I just cast it on during dinner time today. And it is supposed to be one movie episode, or one Netflix episode, one movie vest. It's supposed to be super fast and something you can knit in a half evening. And yeah, I started doing dinner because my son, he didn't want to go to sleep, and what he does is always he keeps on talking, and he just pushes his food around so he doesn't need to leave the table and he doesn't need to go to sleep. So I was like, okay, I cannot sit here and not do nothing, I need to do something. And the other works I'm working with right now, they all use a lot of color. So I was like, okay, I need something simple, and this will be a vest, a really thick, bulky, super quick vest, and I will show you more next in the next episode, because I'm actually looking forward to finishing this one until the next episode. Yeah. Okay. Another question. Let me drink a tea or some water. Okay. Oh yes, I have a teacup here, and I have a water cup, and it looks like this. And the teacup, by the way, if you're interested, I'm drinking pumpkin spice tea in July. And I have the packaging. Oh, I don't have it anymore. It's a pumpkin spice tea I got in Germany. Pumpkin chai. I really like pumpkin spice, and I can drink it all year long. Looking forward to Halloween. Okay, blocking is another question. Just some tips on blocking. It's really hard to, I feel like, demonstrating blocking just on this video when I'm sitting here. I feel I need to kind of show you what I'm actually doing with my hands. But I already did this before on my Instagram, that I took screenshots. And so you can look through that. It's, I think, the last, if you scroll to the right in the story highlights. Yeah, to the right. It's the last one, and it says blocking or washing. And there you see how you really, I do it like step by step so you can see what to do. I can give you some tips, because I mean, when you hear blocking, you generally have an idea, you have probably done it before, and there are so many ways to do it. I just have some tips I want to share. I mean, okay, you wash the sweater in lukewarm water, you just soak it. I sometimes let it soak for like an hour, but usually people say 15 minutes, but I usually do it for an hour because it becomes even more, what's the word? How would I? It's not stretchy, but I can shape it more because it's really soaked at that point. And so if you're a beginner, you maybe don't want to do this because it also means it's more, it can break easily, the fiber. So you want to be very careful with that, but I like to do that. And I soak it, and I always add apple cider vinegar to it, and sometimes also hair conditioner. And I usually use organic hair conditioner without silicones. I'm not really sure if it matters with the silicone part, but it kind of softens the final garment a little bit, and so does the apple cider vinegar as well. And yeah, and if you have a washing machine, I have a setting for wool. I can like switch around the settings quite a lot, and I will usually put it to 400, I'm not sure how 400 turns. You maybe know what I mean. But I used to live in an apartment in Oregon, and we had this shared washing machines, and you just throw it in and you don't really have any settings at all. Don't do it with those. Don't do it. Just, okay, if you hand block it, you take the garment, and yeah, I usually just put it together, kind of like fold it maybe a little bit nicely, but you have to be very careful. And I do it on the bathroom floor, and I will put a towel over it and stand on it, and just keep on standing on it. And if you have enough space, the bathroom floor is, in my opinion, also the best way to kind of spread it out. At least for most of the garments I knit, like the thicker type at least. If you knit like something thinner, maybe with a gauge of 26 stitches, for example, you maybe want to pin it down. But so with these thicker garments, I usually don't bother pinning it down. I mean, one reason is, okay, if I use Icelandic yarn, or let's just not jump too much around. So I use mainly wool, and wool will stretch with time anyways. So sometimes I actually start wearing a garment and it's maybe a little bit tight, but I already know it's going to stretch out a little bit. And I should have probably added this during the sizing part, that yeah, if you use wool, it will like stretch out a little bit more, and it will also shape itself a little bit to your body. At least 100% wool. Of course, it's not the same if you use, let's say, 40% acrylic and 60% wool. It's a bit different with that. Yeah, but let's get back to the blocking part. And another tip is, you often hear people that you should should dry the garment on a piece of towel. I do absolutely not recommend doing that at all, because, I mean, let's say a sweater like this, it takes about 5 days to dry, which means there's time for mold to build. So the best way is put a plastic bag under it if you dry it somewhere where you want to pin it down, or really on the bathroom floor, and Even better if you have floor heating in the bathroom. So I do it now in the new house, which is really good. And I use the floor heating really only for that purpose. I don't really use it otherwise. And yeah, sorry. Window stitching. Yeah, so that's about blocking, what I can say really. Another last thing maybe could be useful is, because it's kind of also about the care of your garment. If you look to this side, you don't see so much, but you see my sweaters being in a shelf, kind of folded together. You don't want to hang up your sweaters, because usually it means they will be stretched out in time, and some of these hangers, they have like little pieces sticking out, and it could actually like pull a hole in your sweater or anything really, so you don't want to really hang them up. And same for shawls. You would usually want to fold them, and then you can kind of hang them in the in-between thing of the, I guess it's originally meant for pants, maybe. You just hang them over that, and that's also a really good care tip. And another thing I do, so where I live, it's cold in winter. We have a lot of snow, which means when I get the first snow, or like this powder light snow, what I will do is I will get all my sweaters out and I will just throw them in the snow and cover them with one side, and then turn them around and cover the other side. Yeah, it will clean the fibers a little bit, and also like they will be really fresh after that, which is really, I like that a lot. I think it's very nice. Yeah, so that's another suggestion, and after that you have to dry them, of course, carefully, but that's just an idea you can keep in mind if you have snow. Not everyone does. I know it's not possible for everyone. That's another point there. And okay, I use a lot of Icelandic yarn. So I get a lot of questions about Icelandic yarn being scratchy, and I get questions, is it scratchy? Or others say it is very scratchy. Is there a way to make it softer? And so I actually do not find it scratchy. There is some wool, for example, Norwegian wool. I found that one actually really scratchy. But the Icelandic one is somehow not, even if it kind of feels rough. Right now I don't wear anything under this, and I can sleep with this kind of sweater and I don't feel this scratchy. I don't know, it's like something natural. And I don't know, I'm also not super sensitive with kind of those scratchiness. Like some people are really sensitive with this. For example, children, you usually don't want to have like wool, or you want to have maybe merino wool around the neck, for example, or the arms. And I have one sweater I made for my son. Okay, so my camera just died and I didn't notice. Okay, I was saying that I was actually gonna get the sweater, but I do not know where it is. It is the Northern Nui sweater I made for my son, and the neck only is in the Icelandic yarn, and when he wears it, he always shows me this sweater that he wants to wear that sweater, but as soon as we get inside he kind of wants to take it off, because he kind of shows, he has not so many words, he, sorry, moving around, making sounds. He doesn't speak so many words yet, but you can kind of tell from his body language that he thinks it is a bit scratchy. So at some point I will open up this sweater and exchange the neck as well, after I completed all these other 5 million projects I'm working on. But I have a plan. It's quite high on the list. Yeah, so there are some ways how you can make it softer, the wool itself. As I already mentioned earlier, while blocking, you can use apple cider vinegar. I believe that one does the biggest difference, and I don't really know how it chemically works. Chemically? Oh, there's like some words sometimes. I'm like, wait, chemically. You know what I mean. So I feel that apple cider vinegar makes the wool the softest, and you can also use yeah, the hair conditioner I already mentioned, or you can also use washing detergent, washing powder, washing conditioner. Maya's, you probably heard of it in the US and Canada. You have it. They have they make this really nice lavender kind of conditioner. Oh, is this the right word for it? My brain is not working. But yeah, don't use that, because those Maya products, I actually just recently learned this. I hope they're not watching this. They're actually full packed of chemicals. So when you find something you like, you want to use to add to your wool to make it softer, I recommend definitely looking in on the back label and maybe researching a little bit about what is listed and what it actually means and what it does. And it's a bit of a hassle, but just think about it, you only do it once. So that's okay. So that's another way to make it softer. And I do personally think the apple cider vinegar gives the most softness, really. Yes, but I mean, there's a limitation. It's just going to just get as soft as that, really, and it's still gonna be, it's wool, it's natural wool, and Icelandic wool it comes from Icelandic sheep, and Icelandic wool is known to be super strong, super durable against weather, and it's because if you have ever been to Iceland, the weather is crazy. I once went hiking on a 2 weeks tour with my little sister. It was in July. And we were wearing t-shirts, and 20 minutes later we were knee-high in snow. So the weather's like this, and the sheeps and the wool they carry, the fiber they carry, are bred to withstand this kind of weather, which means this wool is, yeah, it's just how the wool is, and you can make it softer than that, at least. But I don't mind it, and for my purpose, I'm gonna outside, it's perfect. And I also wear it inside, and I tried to use other fibers, like right now I'm using in the top linen, which is the first time, and I like it. But I prefer wool just for the look, but also knowing it's a really organic material. Let's say it like this, yeah. Okay, yes, I think we went through the questions I wanted to answer today, and yes, I hope this was useful, helpful. Let me know if you have an idea how I could call this. I feel like a catchy name would be pretty cool, like the Wonderful Knitting Blog. We already have this, and then something catchy. I don't know. I'm not known for being good at naming, and oh yes, I want to show you one more thing at the end. I will be casting on a lot of things all the time, but at the same time, and I have a million VIPs, but something small I will be making. I will be using these two skeins of lichen and lace. The colors are sugar plum and rosewood, and those colors are absolutely beautiful. And I will be making, it is more something I will wear maybe in autumn. It's not really like a summer thing. I'm going to show you a sketch, and there's a lot of sketches in this book. I cannot show you all of them, but I don't really know how you would call this. Maybe you can tell me that too, but it is probably a bit close. This camera, I only have one lens. So it is, you have it kind of lay it over your shoulders, and you have a little I-cord, and I got this cord Smith from Size Inclusive Knitwear, and I want to use it on everything I'm making right now. It's so much fun. So I'm making this, and I can tell you not too much of it because it's a work in progress in my head and in the designing of the pattern. I know how I want to do it, I have it in my head, but yeah, I haven't written it down all the way, and I will do this while I'm actually making it. But I'm not going to use those two yarns together. I forgot to add, this is Superwash Merino worsted. Yeah, worsted weight. And this is Marsh mohair. It's 72% kid mohair and 28% silk. And yeah, it's like a lace weight, a thin lace weight mohair. I will not be using them together. Together in the project, but I will not hold them. Oh god, it's getting late. It's 9 o'clock and my brain cells are starting to melt. I think I've been talking for a while now. Not sure. Okay, so I guess this is also probably a good length for a video like this. Yeah, I'm not gonna use those together, and I'm looking forward to showing you more. In the next video I will probably show you the vest, and hopefully I have it finished. I have like always so many ideas when I take those videos, like I can show you this vest I finished making, but then I didn't finish it. Huh. But yeah, maybe we can do this once a week and tell me what questions you have and ask me anything, and knitting related of course. Also farming related, so we just moved onto this really nice farm and I will give you a house tour, but there's still so many boxes everywhere. Like the entrance part is really bad. I just somewhat finished my office today. It's still like this side you don't see. It's pretty stapled up. So give me some more time, maybe in 2-3 weeks, and I will give you a house tour as well. But if you have questions for this, I can answer you that as well. Mainly this is a knitting Q&A. And I got this question, one more last question I can answer. If I also crochet, no, I don't. My little sister does, and I always wanted to try it, but then I was not super motivated in doing it. Just simply, why I prefer knitting over crocheting is just, I like the look of knitting. Like when you see a finished, like this, like how it looks like clean, and even if it's not just, let's say, color work, or even if it's cables or lace, I kind of like this look. And now I wanted to finish this video, but I kept talking. So thank you for watching, and please like and subscribe, and thank you so much for being here. Bye bye. Tea. So